I think that was my first thought was, no, like they got the wrong biopsy. Like that was someone else, like I'm not a smoker. I'm not a drinker. I'm active. I have a healthy weight. We'll get more tests and make sure, because there's no way that's not me. It's Lauren Donithan. I have a 9-year-old boy and a 6-year-old boy. I am a registered dietitian. I do have stage 4 gastric adenocarcinoma. I, at that point, was 36. It is something, especially stage 4, that, it's going to be a continued fight. And I'm very aware of the poor prognosis, but also knowing that, there are miracles, and I do believe that God can work miracles. I had been having GI issues, concerns, just problems, probably for a few years. My symptoms were getting worse, just lots of abdominal pain, cramping, bloating. Doctors just kept chalking it up to both A, getting older, and B, just stress, maybe IBS. Then I started having some reflux symptoms kind of out of nowhere. So I tried, to avoid things that can cause increased acid reflux and heartburn, and that didn't seem to work with food. That prompted me to go to another doctor, and the doctor said, here, just take some omeprazole, take some over-the-counter drugs for that, deal with it, basically. It didn't seem to work. I still felt pretty crummy. The bloating was getting worse, and just more abdominal pain and more reflux. Went to another doctor, and she said, okay, well, maybe try a different type of PPI. And then she ordered a barium swallow that found a pretty large ulcer and some scarring from maybe a previous ulcer. They started me on some medications for that. Didn't seem to help. I had a week where I couldn't keep anything down, so the nausea started. That prompted me to go ahead and go into urgent care. And the urgent care physician ordered a lot of different tests and CT and blood work, the whole 9 yards. Got me into the ER. They decided that, the CT shows just constipation. Just take some stool softeners, some Miralax. You'll be fine. Then I got a call from the local GI office because they had sent in an order for me to see them. So they were able to get me in the following day for an EGD. The next week was May 1st. I got a call from the doctor saying that they found with the biopsy that it was indeed signet cell ring adenocarcinoma. To hear, you're just welcome to getting older, that's very frustrating. But I think it was the second doctor that I went to, and when they were kind of perplexed by it as well, like I knew that it was something I was going to have to really advocate for myself, which has been the name of the game in this journey, it seems. So I wanted to go to a GI cancer specialist, and there's definitely none of those around here. With my dad being down in Denver, it's only about 12 hours away. We could have a place to stay. So the next day, May 2nd, I called down to the GI cancer clinic in Denver, and they said, hey, well, can you be here tomorrow? And I said, sure, like absolutely. I don't really want to waste any time. Started with an initial visit, did this PET scan that day. The next week, I went in and had a diagnostic laparoscopy. It was very helpful, that hopefully I caught it early. Everything was going to be fine. Came out from that diagnostic laparoscopy. The surgeon's face was definitely very different from when I went in, and I could tell that something was wrong. And they had found multiple spots in my peritoneum. Went from that stage 1 to that stage 4. In May and June, I did 4 rounds of chemo. At that point, my stomach was much, much larger than it was, much more inflamed. So we decided to proceed on with surgery. They ended up doing a partial or a subtotal gastrectomy. They did find cancer in my left ovary. So I had both ovaries removed. Did the reductive surgery where they removed all the peritoneal lesions, and then they removed part of the omentum and did washings, and then I did have HIPEC at that time as well. So the surgery, I think, ended up being around 11 hours. It went great, didn't have any complications. And then I restarted chemo and made it 2 rounds of chemo before I said this is enough for now. And that is where I am at today. But I decided to make an Instagram for it to kind of have a diary and something to look back on myself, but also just to create that awareness, just because I was completely blindsided, and just to know what I went through so that other people might know, to not ignore it's just acid reflux, or it's just some bloating, or I'm usually very, very regular and now all of a sudden I'm constipated. Like, those aren't normal things. I found that the more that I was able to get out there and go for walks and do all the things, I really helped. And I think mentally, that's another thing that I wish people would talk more about with this, is just the mental health aspect of it and how important that is for healing.